Welcome back to Boundaries and Boss Move, the podcast where we have real conversations about building a business that supports you and your life, not just drains it. I'm your host, Louisa Marie, and if you are a quick starter, this episode is for you. Today's episode is for all of my visionaries out there, the quick starters, the big picture dreamers, the let's just do it entrepreneurs. You know who you are. You've got ideas for days and you like to take action fast. You thrive on momentum. And while that is a superpower, it can also be a trap because moving too quickly without pausing to reflect can cost you time, money, and energy. Today, I'm sharing how slowing down just enough helped me make better decisions and saved me so much time and money in the long run. So, if you're someone who loves the rush of getting things done quickly, stick with me. This might just change how you move forward. Let's dive in. I want to start with a confession. This wouldn't be boundaries and boss moves if I don't start with a story or a confession of some sort. Believe it or not, I am a quick starter by nature. Now, some people may be surprised by that because I have an ability to think before I act majority of the time, but it wasn't always like that. And sometimes I still struggle. When an idea hits, I want to run with it. I want to launch the offer, sign the clients, implement the new system yesterday. And that's still kind of goes into my personal life sometimes. As my husband, I'm like, okay, we should do this. And he's like, okay. And then I'm like, well, no, I mean like right now, let's do it. Let's do it. Right. But when it comes to my business, I've learned to like slow down because I've made some mistakes. In the early days of my business, I saw this as my competitive edge. Again, I'm a New Yorker, so fast starts, doing things quick, making sure your productivity levels are high. That was high on the chain of command here, on the ladder, on the corporate ladder. That's what I'm trying to say. I moved fast. I got things done and I felt ahead of the game. I couldn't differentiate between climbing a corporate ladder and running my business. It's definitely different. And if you've worked in a corporate environment, again, you see the CEO and they sometimes more often than not have a slower pace and you're just like, okay, I want this now, Gene. Like, why are you taking so long? Let's do this, right? It's actually a leadership quality. Anyways, I digress. As I said, in the early days of my business, I moved fast. And honestly, here's the flip side that no one really talks about. And I kind of wish that it was addressed before I made all these mistakes. Acting too fast without a strategy can cost you big time. Huge. Here's what acting too fast without a strategy often led me to do. First thing I can think of is sign clients that I shouldn't have signed. If you listen to the previous episode, I spoke about onboarding a client that I had no business onboarding. Mhm. I was thinking too quick. I'm like, okay, cool. That's money in my pocket. I'm going to do it because I got goals. Something else it led me to was invest in tools that I didn't need. And when I think about that, I cringe, you guys. I remember there was a time in my business that I paid for the Asana Premium, I think. Now, Asana is a powerful tool. I still use it and I wanted more automation. But have I stopped to think about how this would have affected me financially? I wouldn't have done it because I didn't have the money for it and I also didn't need it. If I had the time to sit down and think of like, okay, how could I streamline my project management? Then I wouldn't have paid for Asana. So that was money down the drain. And Asana is not cheap. It's not cheap. And I don't want to rain on Asana's parade. It is a great tool. Like I said, I still use it, but I have the free version now. And I'm glad that I came to my senses. Again, I digress. Something else that acting too fast without a strategy led me to do was say yes to opportunities that weren't aligned with my bigger vision. I said yes to coaches. I said yes to partnerships that did not align with my goals because I thought it was a move in the right direction. And again, have I slowed down and thought about it? I want to have done it. Every time I go back, I think of things these things that I did and the mess I had to clean up. Every time I made a decision on impulse, I had to go back, clean things up, start all over, and it cost me way more time than if I would have just slowed down in the first place and just processed it and had a strategy in place for it. Now, here's the truth. And this is something that I have to remind myself often, again, because by nature, I am a quick starter. Slowing down, it doesn't mean losing momentum. I'm going to repeat that. Slowing down doesn't mean losing momentum. It means giving you the space to make decisions that are aligned, strategic, and sustainable. Emphasis on sustainability here. When you take the time to pause and think, you get to catch the gaps in your business. You see the missing steps before they cost you. You avoid unnecessary fixes. You don't waste your time and energy redoing the work that's rushed through. Ever been rushing through a project and then you realize you made so many mistakes? Now, if you would have slowed down and done it right the first time around, then you wouldn't have to go back and do it again. Another thing that comes with taking the time to pause and think is making confident decisions. You actually get to stop second guessing because you've taken the time to consider the pros, the cons. You've taken the time to consider your options, and you can walk in confidence knowing that you made an informed decision based on what you think was right, not on impulse. Slowing down isn't about doing less. It's not about doing less. It's about doing better. When I started giving myself permission to pause and reflect, everything really did shift. It really did. I began mapping out my ideas before acting on them. This is a funny story. I'm going to digress a little bit. I created a vision board for the first time last year, and I had a friend come over and she saw it and she laughed at me. She was a creative because apparently vision boards, their images and all these fancy, it was like mood boards or whatever. I literally just slapped a piece of paper on my wall with tape on it and wrote down every single goal that I had and how I was going to get there. That was my vision. And when I was able to keep my eyes on that, I was able to grow my business. So that story is for those of you who are not creative. If you're just like, I don't want to sit there and create a mood board or dream up my vision and images, you don't have to. You can just write it down. Trust me, it works just fine. Everyone has their way of absorbing and processing information. All right. When I started giving myself permission to pause, I also was able to stop and ask, does this align with my vision? Does it align with my vision? Is it worth my energy right now? Now, you may have this brilliant idea and you're just like, oh my gosh, I should do this. And that's a lot of times that's what we do. We're like, we should do it and we got to do it now. But when you pause and reflect, you're able to look at your capacity meter. Like, do I have the energy for this right now? An example for this in my life is it's summertime. I've got a 7 and 8-year-old at home, right? My big ideas, they're going to have to wait because I don't have the energy. I do not have the energy to make it happen because a lot of my time is being consumed by being a parent to my kids this summer. Now, come September or October, then you know what? I might have more energy because they're in school, right? So when you have the time to pause and reflect, you're able to really realize, you know what? I do have the energy and the time for this, or I don't. Something else that shifted when I started giving myself permission to pause. It's like I stopped jumping into offers and collaborations and hires without a plan. Now, I pride myself in hiring great people, and I have a pretty good track record. However, I'll tell you this much. There was one project, the project that I had no business taking, actually, that was really sucking the life out of me. And out of desperation, I hired someone. I didn't think or pause or reflect to see how this was going to affect my business. I was just so focused on getting this client situated. And let me tell you, it cost me thousands of dollars. Thousands of dollars. Now, I haven't sat down and reflected and crunched the numbers, then I would have realized, you know what, Louisa, that's a terrible idea. The result that came from me pausing and reflecting, actually, there's three major results: better clients, better systems, and better results. I myself could provide my best service when I can pause and reflect. I have made so many mistakes for quick starting with doing things without thinking, right? And the superpower lies in pausing to reflecting because I have a strategic mind. And if there's so much going on in there, how much can I consult my clients in? How much? Not a whole lot. I'm human. I'm human. Slowing down helped me step into leadership, not just reaction mode. And you might be listening to this and you're just like, well, I'm not a leader. If you own a business, if you're a CEO, or even if you don't consider yourself a CEO, guess what? You're a leader. You own a business. You own a business. Therefore, you are a leader, whether you think you don't have the characteristics or not. Now, I want to talk to those of you who are listening and thinking, you know what, Louisa, I know I move too fast. And I know I need to slow down to get clear, but I don't know how. I need support to make that happen. I get it. I understand that. And I would like to offer that support to you. I just created a brand new program called Elevate and Empower. And this was my attempt to make an affordable program where we can come together, empower each other, strategize together, and take our business to the next level. Now, Elevate and Empower is not just a course. Actually, I wouldn't say just a course. It's not a course. I want to make it clear. This is not a course. This is a partnership, right? This is a 12-week action focused group where clarity actually meets execution. I'm providing clarity. I'm answering your questions, and you're going to go and execute it. We do this by combining bi-weekly strategy sessions. And what I mean by that is we meet, let's say we pick Monday as a meeting date. We don't have a set date. It depends on the cohort. We meet, we talk, we strategize. We don't meet again the next Monday. We meet the following Monday because I do believe that you need time to implement. And there are so many programs in there that's just go, 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 right? And you got a business to run. You got things to do, right? So realistically speaking, how can you do a 12-week intensive and still run your business? This is why I created this, where we have bi-weekly strategy sessions with built-in implementation weeks. So you're not just learning. You're not just strategizing. You're actually doing the work and seeing the results in real time. And you also have a group of people cheering you on along the way. Here's what we'll work on together and Elevate and Empower. Vision, goal, and alignment. Getting clear on what success looks like to you. And this is a very important factor because success looks differently for everyone. I'm going to say that again. Success looks different for everyone. Some people have big financial goals. You want to reach 6 or 7 figures. Great. Some people, they want to go on a trip of their dreams. Success for me last year, and I spoke about this in one of my summits. Success last year for me was taking my kids, well, paying in full for my kids to go on a Disney cruise. That's all I cared about. I looked at the numbers and I'm like, I want to pay for a Disney cruise in full without going into debt. And if I can do that, then I've had a successful year. And by God, I did it. And no one can tell me that I wasn't successful because I didn't reach their margins, their level of success. So we will start with defining what success actually looks like for you. And we will work on getting you to that place. Next, we'll work on systems and standard operating procedures. We'll work on what simplifying your workflows will look like so they finally work for you and not against you. I know so many people have systems in place, and honestly, it's so much of a headache because you're jumping through one hoop to another hoop just to make it work cohesively. I just had a session with one of my clients where everything was duct taped together and we were able to work on it together and make sure her systems are streamlined in a way that works for her. Emphasis on in a way that works for her, because what works for me isn't going to work for you. And if you don't like a certain system and someone's trying to force it down your throat, then that is a problem. That is a problem. And at Elevate and Empower, we will walk you through that. If you have a system that you currently hate, we will walk together in that and figure out, okay, what's the problem? How can we fix this? Do we need a different system in place? We will work on that together. And who knows, maybe through that, we'll have someone else in the cohort that's like, you know what? Me too. Or even more so, someone could be like, well, I use this system and it might work for you, right? We will also work on time and energy management, which is a huge thing. Boundaries. So many of us struggle with what boundaries look like. And this is why I wanted to have this group, well, teach this in a group environment, because I want you to know that you're not the only one who struggles with boundaries. I can guarantee you that there will be someone else in the cohort that struggles with boundaries, that have gotten taken advantage of, and they are trying to seek help. You are not alone. It is a common problem. People struggle with saying no. It's common. In this session, we will also talk about what blocking time as a CEO looks like. You need CEO time. You can't just be doing client work 24/7. You need CEO time. And I will walk you through what that looks like and how to reclaim your focus as a CEO and working on your business, not in your business. And if you don't understand the difference in that, then we can discuss that as well. We'll also get clear on financial aspects of running a business, identifying money leaks. When was the last time you looked at all of the subscriptions that you have? Which ones are you using? Which ones are you not using? When was the last time you did some market research on your pricing? Are you charging your worth? Are you charging for your time? I had one client that we finally did the math, and it turns out he was getting paid $7 an hour based on his retainer packages. That is something that we will work on at Elevate and Empower. We will work on planning sustainable growth and figuring out how we're going to get those numbers to a place where you're successful. Again, successful on your terms. We'll also talk about team support. Some of you may need a team. Some of you are solopreneurs. We will talk about what kind of team structure you need to elevate your business, to give you more room as a CEO. And don't worry, if you have no intention on never hiring anyone, I'm not going to pressure you to. We will discuss what it will look like for you as a solopreneur to have systems working for you. And you know what? AI is a powerful agent as well. So I don't want you to think that because I own a VA agency that I'm going to be saying you need to hire a VA. No. If you think you need one, then we'll talk about it. If you're just like, no, I don't want one, I respect that. And lastly, we'll talk about scaling with sanity. We will work on mapping out a whole year, the next 12 months, having a plan that feels good for you as a person, a plan that feels achievable and aligned with who you are as a person and aligned with where you're trying to go in your business. All that we will work through. And guess what? This will be live. And of course, if you can't make it, you'll get pre-recorded sessions. But I do believe that there's power in live sessions. I feel like it's been a lost art. This will be live through Google Meets. I was going to say Zoom, but I don't use Zoom. And it'll be live through Google Meets. And there we can brainstorm together and discuss it. You'll have time for questions and answers. We'll have hot seat sessions. I'll provide templates. We'll even have co-working sessions where we're implementing all the things. And you can also co-work with other people that are part of my collective. And we will have a private community just for you and your cohort to help keep you accountable, to help build community. And you get direct access to me through a Slack channel. It is a beautiful setup that I am so excited to present to you. At the end of all this, you get a one-on-one session with me. And this is where we solidify your 12-month plan and leave you with the confidence that you need to execute the plan. So if you've been running on quick decisions and chaos, and you're ready to build something sustainable, this program is for you. Now, if you're watching on LinkedIn, the link to this program will be in the comments. If you are watching in Spotify or YouTube, the link to this program will be in the show notes. If you have any questions, you can email me at louisa@adminvirtuosa.com. You can also check out our website at www.adminvirtuosa.com. If this is resonating with you, I urge you, please reach out. I am here to support you. And there's payment plans. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a program that's $5,000. No, this program is, I made it affordable. It is $14.97. That is how much you will be paying. And there are payment plans available. I am so passionate about this program because I do believe that there's so many people out there who need help. And you guys have spent so much money on courses and programs that don't work. And this is not just another program. And we have limited spots available because I want to be able to pour out everything. And I cannot have a program with 20 people in there and pour my all and still run my business. So again, if you have any interest in this program, reach out. Reach out. Do not wait. Do not wait. The truth is, there are some pros and cons to being a quick starter, but I like to think that being a quick starter is actually a gift when used properly. When you pair the drive of being a quick starter with intentional reflection, that is when your business truly thrives. So before you jump on your next big move, pause, really pause and ask yourself this: where am I rushing that needs more reflection? Where am I rushing that needs more reflection? And I want you to write that down and really just reflect. And if you want to talk to me about it, shoot me an email. Again, Louisa@adminvirtuosa.com. And if you're listening to this on LinkedIn, you can pop it in the comments. I am here for you. I'm here to support you. And it's genuine support. And I will be your biggest cheerleader. I will be your biggest cheerleader. If this episode hit home and you need structure and support and a clear path forward, again, let's build it together and elevate and empower. If you know of someone who can use this episode, who can use this program, please share this. I urge you to share it. Knowledge is power, and the more people who have it, the more powerful we will be. Again, if you're interested in Elevate and Empower, you can learn more or grab your spot at www.adminvirtuosa.com under the services section, or you can look in the comments on LinkedIn or in the show notes on YouTube or Spotify. Thank you for tuning to Boundaries and Boss Modes. Until then, take care of your business and take care of yourself. And remember, boundaries are boss moves. Bye for now.